Good afternoon. Am I speaking with Mr. Flabby?
Dear Flabby, I've got a question.
Dear Flabby, I am 14, and somebody I who is the same age as me, started a podcast. I don't really talk to him anymore, but I've listened to the podcast and it's pure cringe. It's something that nobody should ever watch. How do I tell them to either stop or be more careful with what they post? I don't want to come off as a dickhead. On the same subject, how old should somebody be to start a podcast?
Okay, one, you're being a dickhead.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be a dickhead.
Okay, hold on. I don't
It's
talk,
pure
but I've
cringe.
listened. Okay, I've listened to the podcast. I thought he said he'd never listened.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my advice to this person.
Mhm.
Don't listen to it.
Right. And you can even tell them, yeah, I think your podcast sucks. I think honesty is always the best policy. Tell them you think the podcast sucks and you think it's cringy. But that's where it should end. They want to do a podcast, let them do a fucking podcast. You don't have to listen. And like, I understand that you're 14 and like the trend is to like try to get everybody to stop doing things that you don't like. Yeah, just don't do that. If you don't fucking like something, go find something you do like. Concentrate your time on listening or watching things that you enjoy, not tearing down things that you don't enjoy.
I hope this wasn't my kid writing about my podcast.
My daughter is 14, so that would suck, wouldn't it?
Daddy, why don't you come back in from your room? Okay. How many times have we been told that our podcast sucks?
Oh God, I can't even count. Like all the times, all of them.
We did our podcast for one reason, to try to make each other laugh.
Right.
And if other people listened along, that's great.
Absolutely.
Okay. So maybe that's what this person is doing.
Yes.
Maybe they're making a podcast because it makes them happy, whether it's cringe or not cringe, or that I hate that word makes me cringe because it gets thrown around so fucking much. Like who just don't fucking listen to it.
So that's one of the ways that things have changed so much since we were kids, I suppose. When you were a kid, don't you remember you liked movies? There were certain movies that you liked, certain music that you liked, certain whatever media that you consumed. It was totally different environment, but there was movies that you liked, right? You didn't spend your time worrying about like your friend likes this, so that makes him a bad person. You just liked what you liked. You weren't so concerned with
that's
like,
not true at all.
Are you serious?
No, fuck. If I liked Transformers. If I had a friend that liked GoBots, he was a fucking fag and he was out. He was out of my friend group.
What a douche. The GoBots were awesome. Like the generic Kmart Transformers.
And so I liked He-Man.
Uh-huh.
So you couldn't like She-Woman or She-Man or whatever the fuck it was.
She-Ra.
Whatever. I don't know. I didn't watch that shit. I watched G.I. Joe, He-Man, and Thundercats.
Thundercats was awesome.
And that one show with the big boss, it was a crime syndicate. A big boss, see? Yeah, big boss. That show.
I got nothing. I don't know that one. That was what the gay kids watched. I don't know.
Fuck you. So whenever we talk about music, there's a bunch of music that I like now that I liked in high school, but I was too embarrassed to admit that I liked it in high school.
Yeah.
God, that just tells me how long I've been listening to the same fucking music. So anyway, anybody tells me White Snake sucks can kiss my ass.
Oh, God.
No.
Fucking White Snake.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a White Snake song that I like. Here I go again. Okay. If you don't like it, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you say that song's cringe. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I like it. It makes me happy.
Right. So is that something that comes with age? Like you have to, like, when you're a kid, you have to think about how other people are going to react to what you say or what
Absolutely,
you like.
that's something that comes with age. Because the kids that when you're 16 or 17 and you listen to what you like and you don't care what people think, you get beat up.
You get beat up.
You're like the which I think now is probably cool, but like the kids that used to wear eye makeup and had the corn chip hair,
Awesome.
fucking homos.
I never did that, but I also never got beat up for listening to music that wasn't popular.
That's because they didn't. Nobody even knew you existed.
No, they knew I existed enough to make fun of me.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it comes with age, and the only thing I can say is don't fucking. And here we're talking to the bully, not the bullied. You know, he's saying that this kid shouldn't do a podcast because it's cringe.
Yeah.
Just fucking leave him alone.
Yeah, let him do his podcast and
Now send us a message so I know what the podcast is so we can make fun of it on our show.
Awesome. Instead of like your friend doing not even your friend, a guy that you know doing a cringe podcast and you shit talking or whatever, why don't you start your own podcast? Just shit talking his podcast. That would be funny. There's some value in there. That's funny. Do that. Just every time he publishes an episode, just shit talk his episode. That would be funny.
All right. And what was the last part of his question? On the same subject, how old should somebody be to start a podcast?
Old enough to talk into a microphone. There's no age.
I don't know that I agree with that.
Why?
How old's your youngest kid?
12.
Would you let them start a podcast?
Absolutely. I want him to start a podcast. I think that'd be great. He talks so much. I think he needs to record half that shit. Somebody will like it.
Okay. All right. So I'm guessing you're going to ask me to do all the processing and post it and social media for that too.
I was going to ask if you wanted to co-host it with him.
Yeah. I don't know that I agree with that.
Why?
You'll let your kid do a podcast, but not have a TikTok? How old's your oldest kid?
14.
And your youngest is how old?
12.
So you let your 12-year-old put out a podcast, but not your
Yes.
14-year-old show her titties on TikTok.
When you put it that way, maybe you're right. My son wants to talk. All he cares about is video games, Minecraft, other video games. Why in the world would I not want him to explore his interests by talking? He loves to talk. That's all he wants to do is talk and play video games. Talk, and he wants to talk about video games. Why would I not push him into that? Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Because he should be spending his time doing something that adds to the world.
Like us?
Yes.
Touche.
No. This is my hobby. I have a job. I do good for the world in my job.
God.
I provide.
Don't be that guy.
For those that live on the land or something.
Awesome. Don't be that guy.
You are telling your kids to put all their eggs in this basket. Is this what you hope for your kids?
Absolutely it is. Are you fucking kidding me? This would be the most successful. Yes. If my kids go and get a job and like have an office job making a decent salary, yeah, that's a failure. That is a fucking failure.
You're so stupid.
That is the dumb. That's not what we were designed to do. That's not what people are supposed to do.
And this is what this is why we're here.
Yes, I enjoy this. That's why. Yes, all things can be brought back to: do you enjoy what you're doing with your life? That is the most important thing. And if your life is spent like just typing dumb shit into a computer from one computer to another and sending an email to some jackass that you don't care about, or it's all
where the
just
fuck have you
stupid.
worked in an office where you have to type from one computer and send it to another one to send an email?
I was just rambling. So I have been, I'm sure she's getting tired of hearing it, but I've been pushing my daughter and telling my daughter that she's going to be a stand-up comedian. That's the goal. That's it. You're going to be a stand-up comedian. She's probably not, but I'm pushing her towards it because I think that she would enjoy it. And I want her to have the confidence to try to do things that she would enjoy rather than fucking just get a stupid job.
All right. So I've got, there's people in my life that are like, they push their kids very, very heavily to do things.
Right.
So as far as wrestling goes, they had a room in their house where all the furniture was taken out, and there was wrestling mats on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
The heat was turned on in that room. They put a space heater in there to get it hot to simulate a wrestling room.
Christ. Yeah.
And then they were on a very strict diet in the off season, and they would have to practice year round and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And the intention was to get them top level, right?
Sure.
And it worked. They were standout athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got tired of it,
Mhm.
and there was no fun involved, so they quit.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I was thinking, why don't you do that same mindset with your daughter? Like put up
Set
a
of a,
fake
set of a
brick,
stage.
yeah, a fake brick wall, and put like chuckles on it, and make her do like 15 sets of 3 minutes.
Every night you're doing sets.
I need to clean 5.
That joke's gonna need some work.